Team Mick?
Why Team Mick?
Team Mick?
We were called Team Mick because we were called Team Mick because my last name is McMillan and Irish McKinty, and we're derogatory term for Irish people and mix.
It's almost as clever as Team Meat.
Yeah, I think that's where they got the Team Meat name. Nintendo changed it or whatever, or gave us a name. They wanted to call us Team something.
Remember that terrible blog that I made, and it was you and John and Tommy as butchers?
I remember that. That was good. Good blog.
Web design.
Next.
Was Meat Boy a character you wanted to pursue more after you initially released the Flash game, or was it only after its success that you decided to dig further into that story / world? In other words, did you always want to make a sequel for it?
Nope, I did not. I did not want to make a sequel for it at all.
You're not making a sequel.
But no, to the Flash game, I did make a sequel. Remember, it's that Super Meat Boy game.
I forgot what game we're talking about.
We're talking about Meat Boy the game.
I don't ever want to talk about that game.
Well, that's what this whole thing's about. So.
Damn it. Okay.
What was the question? Why did I want to make
sequel?
Why did I make a sequel? We made a sequel because it did really well. It unexpectedly well. The Meat Boy Flash prototype was the most played game that I'd ever made in Flash, and everybody knew about it. And when we were approached by Nintendo and other companies about doing a console game, or when I was, when I looked around and found that nobody I knew could really do console games, and then Tommy fell out of the sky, and we were like, hey, what do you want to do? It seemed the least risky to do something that was already proven that people liked it. Like, if we're doing something mainstream, I wanted to actually attempt to have some sort of success. So
Ed chose the most best game.
The most best game. Probably, it's funny because it's like definitely one of the worst games. It's one of the worst games of the collection. But I really like the characters, and I guess it's what he's asking. Like, I did really like the characters a lot, and I knew that there was more I could do with it. I knew I could make it good, and I knew that with Tommy's help, like, it could be a really great game. But I also knew that even if the game wasn't good, I could fall back on the characters because I really liked the characters a lot. And yeah, so the characters were the reason why I did the sequel, but the number one reason, really why, that it even was approached was due to the fact that people liked it, and it was successful. Because I didn't want to gamble away 2 years of my life and all of our money on something that might not be anything at all.
Should've been Coil.
Coil. Yeah, I'm gonna double down on Coil. Coil and Trackman.
It's 5 years.
3 years for each game.
First day buy right here. Why a fetus in a jar for the villain in Meat Boy?
Dr. Fetus was a fetus in a jar because it was supposed to be a play on, like, well, obviously, like, old traditional villains for, like, you know, tie the damsel in distress to the railroad tracks, and the guy was always, like, in a top hat, you know, he was all dapper, and I thought, and then in the cartoons there's always, like, the characters that were bad guys that were little kids, like babies, like the baby from
Roger Rabbit.
yeah, and I always liked that too, and I thought, wouldn't it be even more awesome if you could, because it's okay, I'm gonna break it down for you. The reason why it's funny that it's baby is that babies are completely innocent.
Like women being the bad guy.
It's funny.
We could never do that.
We can never be bad.
We can never be strong and bad.
But a fetus seemed like even less probable, and that was basically it.
Yet evil.
Yet evil. Really
My
evil.
first thought, which is completely went over your head. Krang.
Oh yeah, definitely Krang too.
He's totes Krang.
He's totes Krang. Yeah, I do like those. Like, Krang is awesome.
Also,
So,
the fetus has to live in a jar. Couldn't live.
of course. Don't try to figure out how it works. How does he control it? He has some sort of, like,
Juice.
water technology. Like, there's circuitry in the water that he's in that's controlling the suit.
Overall, how do you feel about this game today? What do you think is good about it? And what would you have improved? It does not mean what did you improve.
Yeah.
These questions were asked in the past.
Yeah. It's not Meat Boy was the one game I didn't want to add to the collection because it's very cringe-worthy for me playing it because because there's something to compare it to. Like, it's so far below Meat Boy, like it's just not even in the same playing field, that it's painful because there's something to compare how bad the controls are, whatever else. But the characters were good, and I like the characters, so I'd say that's the best aspect. I like the characters, I like the simplicity of the story, and I tried to stick with it with the remake and everything else. So I'd say that was its best aspect. It's difficult. I mean, it was actually for such, remaking the game. It's not that similar. Like Super Meat Boy is really not that similar because like Meat Boy was always vertical. It did a lot of vertical like climbing, and that didn't really happen barely at all in Super Meat Boy. Turning into side scroll.
Wow, that's really interesting.
There's a lot of these, so.
When did the hot coffee ending occur? Before or after the kidnapping? Also, why didn't you include it in SMB as the extra ultra super ending?
Oh, the hot coffee ending happened after, obviously, after Meat Boy saved. After Bandy Girl saved Meat Boy. They couldn't control themselves. They'd been away from each other for so long that they just needed to ravage each other. And Meat Boy was so, excited by it, he died.
And Bandit Girl saves Meat Boy because she's a woman.
So that is the reason.
How do you, I don't know how you put so much misogyny in one game.
Oh, the reason why we didn't add it in the remake is because that was actually the one thing Nintendo said that they were like, it was not going to be. I'm like, nah, because in like a lot of ways, like it was a joke. Playing hot coffee because that was like shortly after the whole hot coffee controversy, and I thought it'd be really funny to just rub together and see if anybody would get upset about it. And that was mostly what it was. And the funny thing is that people did get upset about it, and it got banned from a few websites because of two cubes rubbing together at the end of the game. Totally ridiculous. But I didn't end up putting it in the game because it just didn't fit. But there's a wink at the end of the game that's referencing the purpose of the wink.
Now this is like self-reflection, so I'll try to do it rapidly, okay? Why Dr. Fetus
No, he doesn't understand anything. He just wants what Boy has to do. Like, he doesn't understand the whole concept of like that she likes. Like he just sees her as like a thing to have.
she makes me boy happy.
Yeah, he doesn't want that to happen. He just doesn't understand what a relationship is. He just wants her around. That's what she
Meat Boy with bandages he collects. If he doesn't have any skin, and the bandages are for apply on his body, the bandages are still sticky on meat.
Yep. They
That
stick
was
to him.
poetry.
They stick to him. He likes them and he puts them on. You can't see them. They're on the other side of him.
If he gets a really good one, I bet he saves them for Bandit Girl.
Puts it somewhere special.
Did you have any other abilities for Meat Boy or is
It's a play on a secret thing that was in, I think it was in San Andreas, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, where you can have sex. It was called Hot Coffee. It caused lots of controversy because it was simulated sex. It was really dumb. Like it was just like these things rubbing together, which is like that's the joke.
most memorable part of development? I don't remember you making that game at all.
The most, because it went by really, really fast. The most memorable part after development, like the definitive thing, like when I remember the game, thinking, oh my god, it's gotten really huge, was my cousin called me and he said that he heard his roommate, he heard the Meat Boy music coming from his roommate's room room. I guess he had just finished playing it, and then he kept hearing it afterwards.